Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, CBP ramps up surveillance tech without much needed IT personnel in place. And HHS reports changes to its IT and artificial intelligence leadership. It's Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. And now let's dive into the day's top headlines. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has increased deployments of surveillance technology along the northern border over the past 5 years, despite sluggish hiring levels of IT personnel needed to monitor the tech, according to a new report by the Government Accountability Office. The staffing rate for information systems specialists has remained below target levels for half a decade, but that gap has widened since 2023. CBP officials pointed to low pay, a lengthy background investigation process, a limited local applicant pool, high cost of living, and minimal career advancement opportunities as drivers of attrition and the inability to fill open positions. CAIO conducted the audit over a nearly 2-year period starting in April 2024 and concluding this month. In examining CBP's northern border facilities, the watchdog found that CBP did not have a strategy to address the critical staffing gap. A senior Border Patrol official in charge of workforce planning said Border Patrol expects those in the information systems specialist role to leave the agency and look for better career opportunities, according to the report. The lack of needed IT personnel is to the detriment of CBP, the auditors found. As the report explains, developing a plan with strategies to improve the recruitment and retention of law enforcement information systems specialists would help Border Patrol ensure that it has sufficient personnel with appropriate skills to effectively use northern border surveillance technology. While low rates of key IT support staff presents a critical roadblock for CBP, the Department of Homeland Security Division faces other challenges as well. Some of the surveillance technology, such as automated sensors, aren't built for cold weather, CAIO found. With the ground near the northern border remaining frozen for a significant part of the year, officials said agents aren't able to receive or access that data. CBP is also dealing with weak communications technology and infrastructure, making it more difficult to deploy surveillance tech. CBP officials also cited challenges with information and data sharing across facilities and other law enforcement agencies as another hindrance limiting their operations. Now moving on to other news, the Department of Health and Human Services made several changes to its IT leadership recently, including the addition of a new acting Deputy Chief Information Officer and an acting Deputy Chief AI Officer. A webpage listing leadership within the Office of the Chief Information Officer currently has David Hong as acting Deputy CIO and Arman Sharma as acting Deputy Chief AI Officer. Meanwhile, Kevin Duvall, who was previously Deputy CIO and acting Deputy CAIO, is no longer on the page. The apparent change-up comes amid reports of a personnel shakeup at the health agency. On Friday, CNN reported that 2 top aides to Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. were departing and new senior counselors would be installed. Those changes were related to preparations for midterm elections, per CNN. It is not clear if the IT leadership changes were for similar reasons. While there is no public indication of when Hong and Sharma began serving as acting deputies, the changes appear to have been made recently. The web page itself says that it was updated Wednesday, and a version of it cached on the Internet Archive on February 2nd still shows Duvall in both roles. The update also clarifies that Michael McFarland is the acting executive officer in the CIO's office. He was previously not listed as acting. Together, the changes mean that of the 10 roles listed on the page, 7 of them have an acting rather than permanent official serving in them. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.